Hello and welcome to the Make Creative Podcast, your monthly podcast of creativeness. My name is Sam, and with me today is Connor.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Daniel.
Hello.
And Drew.
Hey guys, how you going?
I'm great.
Well,
I'm so good right now.
I'm pretty good too.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this interview. I only met Daniel today, so...
Yeah. So, that's good. But Drew actually helps us with some of our videos.
sometimes.
Every drone shot is him just being amazing.
I would go further than that and say technically he helps us with every video because the camera that we are filming with is Drew's. So we've been...
Sam, switch to the camera that's Drew's now.
I don't know which one's which, but...
I'm still waiting for that to be returned.
Yeah.
Eventually. Or just one more week. Yeah. And then one after that.
We wanted to
And
get
then
you
one after that
both
one.
on the podcast because, Daniel, you do a YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. Drew, you're on that YouTube channel.
I highly feature on that YouTube
highly
channel.
featured. You're the one that gets the views, I've heard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His shirt's always off on the thumbnail.
Yes.
Hey, whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to do. Right?
Yeah.
Guys see me and they go, guys see me. Everyone sees me. Goes, yes, please. Let's see more.
Yeah, nice. So you guys kind of basically do a YouTube channel together. You've done a lot of traveling together on that YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. Daniel, tell us what that YouTube is and how it started and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, wow. The YouTube kind of thing, as far as like filming and the wanting to get into content creating, actually started when I was 10. We were missionaries in Italy for a little while, for 2 years, and I was severely homesick and very lonely. And this was happening this lasted for maybe 12 months, and then it came to a point where I could only curl up in my ball and cry for so long, when then I was like, all right, what am I going to do about it? And then that was the first time I actually ever picked up the camera, and it started off with just this little silver, tiny little... You know when you take a photo and it has like the time and date and orange writing in the corner?
Yeah, like proper old school.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, it was like that. And started making like stop motion action figure fist fights and like remakes of Lord of the Rings and WWE.
Nice. What, is that on YouTube?
And it actually is. I haven't put it out there yet. But as in, it's on a secret channel.
Oh,
So
man, I gotta watch that. I gotta find that.
And then it started. Then I started getting in front of the camera, and then one of my other missionary friends who was there with me in Italy, we started reenacting the movie Taken with Liam Neeson.
Which, as kids, you probably did know the extent of how deep that movie is.
You're kids, right? So,
No one was taken.
Who was the kidnapped
killed.
victim? Like,
My ex-crush. And so, but I was the savior. I was like,
cool.
Nathan,
hero. That's
I've
right.
found a great target.
I think
My
it'd be more
ex.
creepier if you were the kidnapper, right?
But then it just kept going, and throughout, we came back in year 7, and then going into my high school life, one of my mentors, my year 8 English teacher, and he was my English teacher throughout from year 8 to year 12. He actually made like assignments and had the filming for an alternative for me to grow in that aspect.
Oh, that's so good.
So a lot of things was, to his credit, he's the one who actually but encouraged me to be like, all right, you want to travel the world. I get that. But how are you going to do it? How is that actually feasible? How is that, like economically, you know what I mean? Because we all have these big visions and dreams, but actually getting it, putting money where your mouth is, you know what I mean? So he really challenged me on that. And I owe a lot of that kind of experience and that wanting to make it happen to him.
So for school assignments and everything, it was as soon as we heard of a filming assignment come up, Daniel. As soon as we could choose our team, it was always with Daniel. And then for some reason...
But not in sport.
For some reason, always 100%. Always 100%. Whereas you watch them back now, you might go, 56%.
Just passable.
Yeah, nice. And so you started traveling around and filming things, and like you guys did stuff together. I remember Drew's parents, we just moved to Perth, going down to their property, and they're like, check out DC and Daniel's and Drew's stuff. And they showed us a video of you guys surviving on the beach for 24 hours and you jumping in the ocean and almost dying.
I think that's most of our views is probably just like the pride of our parents going, "Hey guys, we just met you like yesterday and invited you over dinner, but watch this."
Yeah. They are our sales representatives.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best way. My mum's like the sales
Yeah.
representative.
Yeah.
for us
Yeah,
as well.
she's our Make Creative ambassador.
Yeah. She's better
Yeah.
at it than me in terms of social media.
Yeah.
She's just like, hey, a video's coming out. I'm like, really? I'm the one that uploaded it. I don't know.
Yeah, Mum, it's not even uploaded yet.
Yeah, but talk to us about some of your like adventures, traveling, and all that. Stuff.
And what countries have you guys been to?
Well, we met in we didn't meet. We teamed up in Canada.
First time we traveled together was Canada.
Yeah, and we're in Montreal for our best mate's wedding. And then from then on, I almost didn't go. Because I was doing some stuff in Europe at the time, and right before do you remember at the airport they were giving me a send off, and I remember sitting down, I checked in all my bags, and I was about to leave. It was me, Drew, and Jared, three of the best mates that we grew up together, and I remember Drew was like, Daniel, like, you gotta come. You gotta, you know what I mean? And then and we just started talking and then seeing how doable it actually would be. And then 3 months later, the same three of us were in Canada together, and that was a pretty surreal moment.
Yeah, that was awesome
Yeah.
to be in like a different culture, because that was the first time I'd left Australia. So to be in a different culture, even though it's still very similar, with your best mates is just the coolest thing. And then we spent the next 2 to 3 months driving across Canada, ducked into America, and just had the best time.
Yeah.
Like, plenty of memories, plenty of laughter, plenty of filming as well, which
Yes.
you can check out on Daniel's YouTube channel. But yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
So, what is it about the traveling and the filming that really, Daniel, you love the most? Because like you can tell you love it, and
Yeah, I think the biggest thing what I really kind of try to focus on is for me personally, to not. It's hard to kind of say this without sounding mean or whatever, but to avoid like the kind of like the tours and actually kind of get in with the locals.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
which
get
is
that.
kind of and everyone's different, because some people only have like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? 2 weeks for a holiday, so they want to see as much as they want to see.
Yeah.
But I also push the point. You're not going to actually remember the Colosseum a year from now, because you've got photos and you can Google it. But it's those kind of conversations that you have at a cafe with someone from Spain, and you teach him English for an hour. That spontaneity of conversation, and then you go separate ways. It's those little things that, for me personally, stick with me a lot more.
Yeah.
And I meet lots of travelers as they're trying to do like the Euro tour, and they're hip hopping across all the capital cities, and they're just trying to fit everything in, and it's almost stressful.
yeah,
And then it's like, well, if you're here and like the minute you start traveling for other people, which is something Drew's always kept me accountable of, the minute you start traveling for people, you lose. You know what I mean? When you start traveling for you and you get to see what you actually want to see.
yeah,
And then people who stop you happily. Do you know what I mean? People aren't an obstacle.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see those sites when you get to those sites. Like, and there's so much of these different countries that I haven't seen a whole lot of. And I'll get there. But if I don't, that's okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's people first.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Over location.
For sure. Like, I think you're like, yeah, that's like when I like, I've never been overseas, but I've gone to every state in Australia. And when I go there, like one of the things I want to do is just roam.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to roam through the city and whatever. Like, I don't want to go to like an art gallery or whatever like that. I mean, I'm not against it, but like,
Yeah.
what I mean is like, if I was roaming through, I'd be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go to this art gallery. You know, I'm not going to
Yeah.
like plan to do anything.
Yeah. Being adaptable. Hey.
Yeah, that's it. Like I think that's what I prefer to do. I went to Sydney and we just at the end of last year, and we just like a group of us went together and we just roamed. You know, we just like sort of roamed and checked out some sites, different different venues, and like just it was so much fun. You know, just took some photos. So like I get what I know what you're saying. Yeah, 100%.
I had the same thing when I had the biggest juxtaposition, because we went on our trip and that was complete. Like, I've never had so much freedom. Had nowhere to be, had no house, had no job, had no ties apart from my girlfriend back here in Perth. Big tie, but we were able, like, I had full permission to go and travel and be free. And then, so I did that trip with Daniel and our other mate. And then when I came back, the only way I could go on that trip was if I promised to go on a trip with my girlfriend as soon as I got back. So then got back from America and we went to New Zealand and it was the complete opposite. Same thing, like everything planned. Every day had somewhere to be on the road driving, everything like that. And I, like, despite the people and experience, I enjoyed both of them, loved both of them. But the freedom aspect of the first trip was just like the best thing ever.
You did make videos of that New Zealand trip as well on your girlfriend's YouTube channel. So we'll plug all that stuff at the end. But
easy.
Yeah, you can see that. I had the same thing in America where we, as a family, went and we all planned it out and we all wanted to go to different places. And it was just like a couple of days in like New York, a couple of days in San Fran, a couple of days in Orlando. And it was like so rushed and stuff. And then me and Dad stayed behind for my 21st like sort of present, and we drove to Las Vegas. Not Las Vegas. We drove to the Grand Canyon and just like stayed around the Grand Canyon for a couple of days. And it was like snowing, which was super different. And it was that it was kind of that moment of like, oh, this is what I actually wanted to do, because it was so enjoyable. Was the like freedom of we don't have anywhere to be, and you know, it's just like, I definitely relate to that.
I think the point is like, when you're completely free, you end up doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas when you plan before, a lot can change before you leave. So
And like, and I guess like you also have to spend heaps of time planning it as well.
Yeah.
So like, there's like, just as soon as you start planning it, you're taking a little bit of enjoyment out of it because you've stressed about it, you thought about it, and then like, you got an idea in your head of what's going to happen, as opposed to if you just rock up and do it.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no expectations, no nothing. It's just like bang, like this was the experience.
So I want to talk about, you're pretty open about your faith on your channel, wherever you can be. And I want to talk about some of the content you've made in a second. But just tell me a bit about how you kind of are authentic and honest and open about your faith in the traveling and the making videos on your channel and stuff.
Well, it's only actually been the last 4 or 5 months where I've actually stopped the whole religious sense and actually been a lot more not using now the convenience of God, you know what I mean? So when I was traveling and not surrounding myself with Christian friends a lot of the time, that takes its toll like on any human. And so I, you know, slept around, did drugs, partied and all that, made my mistakes and all that kind of thing. But there was always that God factor at heart. And then not very good at all, but then people, because I was quite open, like I am a Christian, although I might not be showing it visibly. But so then people would say, oh, you're a cool Christian because you sleep around, because you do this thing.
Heard this term before.
And it not good at all. I loved it at the time. But then it really kind of hit me just how twisted it really is, you know what I mean? But from when I was traveling, I would never be ashamed. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I'm a Christian. I believe how it goes and everything like that. But it's only just been recently now, in the last few months, where I've actually involved God in the actual creative process, and that's actually been the most adventurous it's ever been.
Yeah, okay,
that's awesome.
Let's talk about that a bit, because you obviously can't travel at the moment, and so you've done some interesting content in the meantime in COVID. Now you guys have lived together with a bunch of mates. Drew, you've just moved out.
Oh, thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
No, I love that.
Heard the horror stories. Because you're moving soon. But talk to me about some of that content in terms of COVID times and how you've really gone through that process of like bringing the Christian faith in and what that sort of adventure's been like.
Yeah. Well, God really slammed me in my face happily.
He loves doing that sometimes.
He does.
Sam and I both experienced that as well. Just that wallop in the face.
Yeah, you haven't cried for a while. Bam.
Honestly.
I want you to cry for a week.
And you know when it's like tears, when it's just like 1 or 2 tears, like, oh, cool, this is good. But there's other times it's just not.
The ugly cries when they get you.
But it was, I just dramatically kind of messed up, and then God just really kind of showed me kind of just the life I've been living, and just how he was consistent and he still showed up. He never bailed on me and everything like that. And just from then on, then being able to, not to say life has been perfect, you know what I mean? It's far from it, but then going from there to creating content that revolves around him. And then I just kind of, a bunch of us boys were sitting around, us roommates were sitting around playing poker, having beers, and we're just chatting. And then the whole topic of pornography came up. And then we stopped playing poker for like an hour and a half.
Just chatted.
And then just chatted. And then it came to the point where it was like, all right, well, like we all just wanted it to be done. Do you know what I mean?
We were all stuck in the trap that a lot of people find themselves in. And we together made the decision, like, if we want to change it, let's change it. And we started there.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the journey for all of us. And the journey still continues. It's not something that you conquer and it's done. Journey always carries on, but we are fighting the good fight and pushing hard to be better people and put
you make
that stuff behind us.
You make content out of it, which I like.
And that took a while. That's the biggest thing. It's crazy, like how, like I didn't know. It took me a while to kind of for God to really kind of nest that in, because at the beginning when we first made this accountability board, we decided we want to put it in the living room. So when people walk in and ask about it, we say that's our pornographic accountability chart. This is there to also break the stigma, you know what I mean? So we can talk about it openly with whoever walks in.
And that was just a representation of keeping each other accountable by marking the days and stuff like that. So
Ticks is if you didn't look at it, and a cross on the day is when you did look at it.
Just so it was in the open. We had nowhere to hide it, because things that are hidden have so much
Which
power.
is crazy. Like, awesome that you boys together have been able to do it. Also, like, it's something you hide away for the most part as well. So, like,
especially
the concept
in the Christian
of
circle.
concept of having it open is just that's kind of scary, and also like it's really smart.
But when people walked in, they asked about it at the beginning. Kind of like, it's a workout regime. It's COVID time, so we want to do like at-home workouts. But then we started owning it. We started talking about it, and then when girls came over, asked about, like, went back to it's a workout regime. But then when we explore the topic more, it's a massive problem for girls as well now. Do you know what I mean? It's a massive problem. I think churches focus too much on girls' identity and all that, and they're not actually addressing pornography. And that's something conversation I'm having lots of girls about now, which has been awesome. Just opening up the dialogue and owning it. And then God was like, we like, this needs to go public because this is working really well for us. But if we've got a recipe, we don't want it to just be this family secret recipe. We want this to kind of
help everyone. Right?
Sure. And so the whole thing of the accountability of it being visual and it being consistent works. You know what I mean? And then going from there, God was like, I want you to do something about it and put it online. And the coolest thing is, one of our roommates, like, he was kind of like definitely like a bit shy to talk about it on camera. And we just, the week beforehand, I was just kind of just seeing where he was at, because I don't want to force him to be on camera with it. Do you know what I mean? Obviously. But it'd also be really cool because the things he's been telling me is very relatable for lots of people. And then it came to the point where I was interviewing one of my roommates, and then the interview was finishing up, and then he approached me. And then he owned it. And then the stuff that he was saying on camera was probably the most relatable stuff. I probably used him the most. And that was just the ideal thing of, like, we don't have anything together. We are not qualified at all. And it's only God. Do you know what I mean? It's not the views, it's not the likes, it's not the subs, it's not this. And sometimes we can get carried away with that with the creative theme. But it's just God that qualifies us, as long as you've got a heartbeat. And so being able to actually be a mess and own it, but then be like, all right, I'm not going to take advantage of this, God. Utilize me, you know? And honestly, like, the fight is very real. I just made a video just recently all about relapsing, because lots of the content we've made has been almost like championing, like just an inspirational. So like, this is what we're doing about it. It's all ticks, it's all this, and practical ways how to fight, how to not look at porn. And it's almost coming to the point where a viewer can see this and be like, oh, they're in control with it. You know what I mean? But then recently God was like, I want you to make a video about relapsing, because that's what you've been doing lately. And in my head, I was like, no way. You know what I mean? But it's crazy how God can just, I don't know. And it's all him. That's what I mean. It's all him. Yeah.
And what's the response been like? Like, I'm fascinated by this purely because it's so relatable for most people, and also because barely anyone talks about it just personally. It's always like, oh, it's a problem, but let's not speak about our personal, experience of it. So what are people like commenting? Are there people that are like, we're doing this with you now? Or like, what's going on?
Yeah, there's a couple of very supportive comments, which has been awesome. Not a whole lot of friction, actually, which I was quite nervous about, because lots of my traffic comes in when I was traveling, I'm an ambassador for Workaway, which is like a volunteering travel organization. And lots of the like Workaway volunteers are like very, I don't want to generalize, but very open-minded with different things and everything like that. So the whole context of porn, I was expecting lots of resistance because it's like, it's liberating, it's an art, it's expression, all that kind of thing. But they were really responsive and they really enjoyed it, which is cool. And the most humbling thing is when people are like getting around it in their own homes and they're making their own charts, like their own, like, and their dad knows about it with their brothers and things like that. That's definitely been, and we actually don't hear about it because it's, some people aren't, okay with being pop, which is completely understandable. But when they do tell me like just one-on-one conversation, it's a real kind of, we're in the trenches together. Do you know what I mean? And it's worthwhile.
Yeah, nice.
Because that's what we found. Like, well, for me personally, the biggest thing I found is how much power you can break when you, one, have community, and two, you're just open.
Yeah, that's right.
When you talk about stuff, like if you asked before we even had the board whether Dees would ever make a video on porn, like and fighting a porn addiction, there's no way he would have said yes. Because we all held it so close to our chest, me included. And between friends, you would sort of talk about it and check in and stuff. But going public, like I have no problem with chatting to anyone about it, and the fact that I've struggled with it for years and years. And saying that to a lot of people is like, oh, I can't say it. But as soon as you start saying it, it gets easier to say. And the more lives you are changing when you you step out and make that call to say it,
I think that's the truth for anything as well.
Yeah, for sure. It applies to like anything across the board.
Takes
that you
away
try and
some of
hide
its
away.
power.
It
Takes its power away, like the power away from it over you. It's controlling nature.
Exactly.
So
It's just like, I guess it's like the analogy of like darkness can't survive in light. So if you bring it out in the open, like it can't, it just doesn't have anything left. It's
Exactly.
just
No
becomes-
hold.
Yeah,
No
that's right.
hold on you.
Yeah.
So, Drew, I kind of want to talk about the fact that you've helped us out a fair bit, and like our families have been friends for a very long time, and we reconnected over since I moved to Perth. So I just want to talk for a bit, and DC, I want to hear what you are like. But what is it like being friends with Drew and his family? Because to me,
don't be honest.
to me, but honestly, to me, like they've been a
Actually,
saving.
I met your parents. They're amazing. What the heck? They're amazing. Far
They've
out.
been like this family has been a saving grace to me since I moved over here, and obviously Drew's been super helpful and encouraging. But like, what's it like being friends with that amazing family?
Honestly, just thinking about it, it's almost bringing me to
I
tears.
know, like, I had to like stop for a second.
I've only met once.
Stop it. Stop it.
Like everyone else but Drew.
Tears for me, not for the family.
The amount of very deep conversations, especially in high school, I've had with Mr. Barnes and Mama B at one point, and they were very supportive of me and my traveling and things like that. And also their willingness to also speak with me openly, and quite, they didn't sugarcoat a lot.
Blunt.
They were blunt, but with filled with love. Like,
Yes.
you can tell.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you see Mama B's, Drew's mum's eyes in her eyes when she's saying, I'm just worried that you guys are using the convenience of God. You know what I mean? And it's breaking her heart. You know what I mean? And that really hit home run because I was.
Yeah.
It still sticks to me now. And they are fantastic couple.
Yes.
I met him and I was like,
Yeah,
oh man,
yeah.
like it's crazy because like I would say like there's not I've run into fair and few of like people who are like that, and it's so enriching. Like when you walk away from meeting someone, you're like, wow, this person changed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like they're not like they're like super wise and everything. But it's not specifically from their wisdom. It's just about, as you say, like they just love you.
Yeah.
They just love you, and like that's enough for you to be like, wow, like I'm gonna take that with me forever. So
Yeah, because like, what you guys lived in Brisbane for a while. So, me and your sister, like, our parents were pregnant at the same time, and I came out first, and then your sister, and then another one.
Yep.
Our families were friends in Brisbane, and then they moved back. Our parents came over to each other every now and again. But I remember coming over to you when you were like a wee little snot.
Still am a wee little snot.
Just a bit longer.
Annoying me and your brother while we were trying to hang out when we were like 8 or 9. And then coming back later and meeting you as an adult and kind of re-meeting your family and everything. It's been incredible just to be like, feel like a part of the family. And then for you to help us out, like I don't think people appreciate how much you've helped us out in terms of, yes, the camera, but also like returning hope.
Yeah.
I had a vision for that video that you helped us do with all the drone shots and the shots on the beach and everything. And like, I was very much have this vision help me so much, you know, all these sorts of things. So I do want to say thank you for all you've done.
Thanks from both of us.
Yeah.
It's we literally couldn't have done it without you. So,
And
well,
obviously
it's been
staring back.
so much fun sitting back and watching you guys take hold of it as well. And do it.
It's been fun.
It's just a really, very, you know, the spirit of Christmas right now, you know?
Yeah.
Wait,
it's Christmas?
It's Christmas next week, dude.
You're meant to be making presents right now.
yeah, you should be making presents. What are you doing?
I'm taking a break to talk to you guys.
So if your kids miss out on presents,
it's all good. I'm literally like
Elf Sam's fault.
Yes. I'm literally the real life version of the movie Elf. Like everyone's so much shorter than me.
Yeah.
You know, at work. And
You just need to run into an animated penguin on your journey to New York.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who's to say I haven't done that?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's great. It's a great penguin.
Is that a penguin?
Cool. All right. Well, how about you guys plug all the stuff that you do, and we'll finish off from there.
I reckon plug yourself, and then I'm happy with that.
Right. I always feel a bit like plugging myself, but I'll take the opportunity.
Oh, we got a video on Daniel plugging himself on live radio as well, which he didn't want to do, but
How'd that go for you?
Well, he challenged me, like, I had to say a phrase on live radio, and I didn't know what it would be until I was there. And it was like and subscribe.
Which he hates saying.
Okay, we need to talk about this. Sorry, we're not stopping this podcast yet because we do bumpers for this channel.
Yeah, we do bumpers for all the videos.
And it is by far, we do everything else in like 1 to 2 takes. Maybe the songs take a little bit longer. The bumpers take us 50 times to say like and subscribe.
Yeah.
It's the smallest thing.
I think 58 takes for one bumper we were trying to get one time. That was the worst of it. But man, the word subscribe is so hard to say.
I don't know what it is. I just I'm not sure why.
He's never wanted to necessarily blatantly plug himself and say, guys, I'm awesome, watch this.
It feels a bit cringy.
But he's about to do it perfectly right now. Watch this, take it away.
Choose a camera.
Which camera?
Choose Drew's camera.
This one here is better because it's facing you.
Everyone silence. Silence.
no,
Daniel,
back to
take
cringe.
stage.
So my YouTube channel is Daniel Casadio.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Life changing.
Casadio. Instagram is at Dan Casadio. And then I do a podcast, which is usually every Monday, but it's been a bit slack lately. But on that, we also talk all about mental health and lots of different stories and I guess lots of kind of Christian testimonies and how they've come to. And that's called the Happenance Podcast. And that's on Spotify and all the other major streaming services. Drew, your turn.
Go check it out. My plug, I don't really have a plug. I don't have any plugs. My plug is Daniel Casadio, D-A-N-I-E-L.
Spell his last name again, please.
C-A-S-A-D-I-O. Like Casadio, the cassette tape, but not quite. You can't get it wrong.
So what channel is your New Zealand one on?
Honestly, couldn't tell you.
I think it's literally just called Shiny Joys.
It's my girlfriend's channel, so
We'll
and I don't want
description.
that to blow up, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm famous." That'll go to her head. So let's keep her humble, guys. Let's keep her humble. Yeah,
It's all right. We'll just make everyone comment. We're here for Drew.
yeah. Comment you hear from me and back me in real life instead of
If
on
you
YouTube.
could just comment on anything Drew's on, just say we're here for Drew.
We're here for Drew. Which there's
I'm
a lot
actually
of things
keen.
where it's like a Drew short film on my stuff. So,
So if you like and subscribe to Daniel, you're doing the same for me.
Just like
so.
go into one of Daniel's own just soul travel ones. Just say we're here for Drew.
Yeah, I'm actually keen to see if anyone does. I'm really
I'd be
keen.
really keen if someone did that. Cool. Awesome. Well, you can find us at Make Creative on YouTube, Make Creative Worship on Instagram, Make Creative the Facebook group, and you can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Make Creative as well. we keep branding.
You did that so well. Like
I
you
know.
did that. Like
I'm all flustered.
yeah.
right now.
And you
I'm
was like,
like,
oh, what, how many streaming services?
See,
am I
I
on?
knew I had to get that right straight away because I am so hot in this costume. I just want it to be over.
well, thanks very much for having us.
Yeah,
guys.
Nah,
Thank you,
dude,
guys.
it's been a huge blast,
very
man.
much.
It's been a
thank
massive
you.
blast. So
Thank
glad
you
to have
so
you on.
much. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Have an awesome week.
See you later, guys.
See ya.